Hi, welcome to another edition of InvestGhana Podcast under the auspices of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, as well as Akona Studios, who have been gracious enough to give us this place to be able to do the podcast. Today, we're talking about investments, but with women in there. How do we pull more women in areas of investment? What are the challenges they face, and how can we move forward? I have two great women who are going to help us with this discussion. I have Theresa Ayoade. She is the co-founder and CEO of Charterhouse, as well as Anita Nadia Attah. She's also serves as a deputy to the CEO at Cal Asset Management. Ladies, welcome. We're talking about investments today, and I'm going to start with you, Theresa. What pushed you to move into the industry, to start to run a business, to want to be an investor in a particular sector?
Well, my company was founded in 2000. We had a parent company before that was founded in 2018. So that parent company was called Multiple Concepts Group, and it's a marketing, communication, and advertising company. And out of that company, we founded the Charterhouse Productions. And it was founded basically to serve as an opportunity for us to explore our creative talents and creative ideas that we had come up with that we wanted to produce.
Okay.
So we started with the Ghana Music Awards, and then we went on to produce other titles like the Miss Malaika and the Night of a Thousand Laughs, etc. And then aside of that, we also began to offer our services to companies and organizations in terms of organizing their own events. So we built, over time, we have built a creative enterprise that has employed hundreds of young people and shown young people the path or the way to exploit, but first of all, to discover their creative talents, to nurture it, and to convert it into something commercial that they can thrive on. And so that's what we've been doing for the past 26 years.
26 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
26 years this year.
I'll ask you in a
And,
bit what the 26 years has been. I'm sure you have lots to say around the challenges, the success, the journey.
It's been very interesting because this was a very unusual career path.
Yeah.
An unusual career path. I grew up thinking I was going to be a developmental banker.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you
so-
were
so-
going to
so
be like
that was-
Anita,
yes,
and you
yes.
changed your mind.
Yeah, so that was the dream. But I discovered along the line that I was a creative and that I had ideas and I wanted to. The entrepreneurial spirit in me was think and do spirit.
Yeah.
So once you think it, you dream it, then you now put in the energy to make it happen. And so that's how we began to create a creative enterprise that began to attract like-minded people who felt that they had ideas and to share and wanted an opportunity to be able to share and display those ideas, began to come to us and work with us in terms. So that's how we built a creative enterprise. But having gotten into that space, I was exposed to the hugeness and vastness of the creative industry.
Okay.
And in so doing, I also realized there were a lot of gaps. And of course, gaps means opportunity. So we realized opportunities in the industry and began to step into that space and begin to provide solutions to companies and organizations that needed our skills.
Okay. So Anita, let me bring you in. So she is running hers, but you are from the corporate side and a lot of investment going there. And you also are one of the many institutions who are backing people financially in terms of investment. What is the terrain like and around women in investment for now?
Okay, so thank you. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be sitting on the same panel with Theresa. So Theresa and I go back a very long way.
Yes.
Yes,
You guys
I
go to
trust.
Holy Child together. I know you went to Holy Child. I don't know where Theresa went. Theresa.
I went to Nachimota.
Hey, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I trust it's a proud moment for her. But yes, I come more from the corporate end, and from where I sit as an investment banker, women over the last few years have become more aware of themselves, have become more interested in financial activities, have become more interested in building wealth, have become more interested in building businesses. So in recent times, you see that there are a lot of young women trying to do one business deal or another, whether online or in person, physically a shop or wherever, whether it's food, it's clothing, it's cosmetics, whatever it is that women are venturing into. I believe that it's also come from a place where the women have become more aware that they need to be financially independent. They need to be able to build wealth for themselves and own those, things. And so for me, it's exciting to see women rise up and want to take their financial decisions into their own hands and make something for themselves.
I like what you're saying about the new era of women in investment, because over the years we see women wanting to build business, but the focus is not so much on money. They want to fulfill a purpose. So, for example, I want to open a cosmetic, but they're thinking of how to make it good. But the money part is just, has that changed, or we are still seeing?
So I believe
With the men, the
traditionally,
focus is the money, but women.
traditionally, and I believe maybe it's probably on our side of the world, women haven't been conditioned to want money. For some time, or for a very long time, women have been conditioned to feel like if you want money, there's something wrong with it, right? Women would be groomed to go to school, get married, keep a family.
Somebody takes care of them.
Somebody takes care of you. I'm yet to meet any woman beyond my age who grew up knowing that she could own her own house before getting married, or grew up knowing that she could have her own business, buy her own car, and not necessarily have to want anybody to do that for her. I believe that with the changing era, the younger generation of women have become more self-aware, have realized that building wealth is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
If a man can have money, a woman can have money too. Right. And there shouldn't be a problem with that. So that's exciting.
Okay, let's look at the challenges along the line in running businesses as women in investment and all that. And I'll start with you, Theresa. Over 20 years, that's something else. I mean, what has it been like trying to maneuver the waters over the years as a woman with investment interests, and not just one company? You have a parent company with different wings. So you've seen a lot of, sectors in there.
Yeah. So just to give you a structure of our business, we have a parent company that is a marketing and communications company. Under that company, we have a company called Charterhouse Productions, which is into events, production, and event and audiovisual production. That's the one that people know.
Yeah.
Then there's another company called Events Resources Africa, and that is into logistics and infrastructure for the creative industry.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So under the Events Resources Africa, we have two venues. We have the Grand Arena. We have the Palms Convention Center at the La Palme. And then we also own a lot of production logistics, staging, lighting, audiovisual production equipment, screens, LED screens, and trussing. Basically all the infrastructure that are needed to organize large-scale events, medium-scale events, small-scale events, as well as conferences, exhibitions, etc. So what we did was we put ourselves into the events ecosystem and began to provide solutions for the industry. In doing this, we had to raise funding, obviously, because we were expanding in business. And I would say that my personal experience, I haven't felt biases towards me as a woman, because I haven't seen myself as a woman, so to speak. I've never seen myself as a special case.
Okay. You're a human being running a
Yes,
business.
I'm a human being running a business, and so we need to, first of all, you need to run the business properly
Okay.
to make yourself credit worthy.
Yeah.
And so once you're able to build that relationship with your bankers, and they see the work that you do, and they see the funds that are flowing through your account, and they see that you have been able to sustain a business, then when you now open up a conversation of how we want to expand and to go into other areas related to what you're doing, then there's a track record that they can lean back on and move with you forward into the future. So I will personally say that even if there were biases, I didn't see them because I chose
Okay.
not to see them. And I think it's probably how I was socialized.
Okay.
I went to a mixed school, and that did a lot for your socialization. At Nachimota School, we were a mix of boys and males and females, boys and girls, all striving academically to shine.
To shine.
You know, so it was very competitive, a very
Yeah.
competitive environment. There was never any time I felt disenfranchised because I was a woman. Never.
Okay.
We were always equally dealt with as one, and everybody just brought their best game to the table. So with that mindset, I never really
You went, you know, in
I
the
never-
world with that.
yes, I went into the world with that. And if you were showing me bias, that's your problem.
So you were intentional about ignoring bias.
I didn't see. I refused to see bias. It was about what I could do.
Yeah.
It was all about developing myself and challenging myself to do more and to just basically live to the fullest of my potential. So I was not going to allow anybody's biases to affect me. It was more about trying to be focused on what you're doing and making sure that you're doing all the necessary things that will make you be able to present your best case forward.
Okay.
Yes. So I think that is what a lot of women need. They need that support to be able to. And when I felt I needed support, I needed to to be trained in other aspects of business. I looked for those opportunities. I did courses. I worked with consultants. I worked with people to help me structure my business.
Yeah.
To make me more eligible for the kind of capital I needed to access. Because the facts are facts. If you don't have the right standing, you will not get the funding you need. So if you need help to put those things together to get you more credit worthy, to put necessary formal structures in place, then you have to seek it to do it. And that's where I feel that a lot of women need support. They need support in organizing their businesses. Putting
Make
in
it really structured.
the right business systems and structures that can enable them present the right business case to access the funding that is needed. And then also I feel that funding opportunities to women are not so exposed to where the funding opportunities are. I particularly am currently working on a project. I'm developing a project to be a project sponsor, and I am kind of putting it together for the next level, what we want to do as a business. And it's got to do with the venues that we are trying to invest in to provide more events venues for the country based on what we do as events and organizers. If we don't have good enough venues, we really cannot apply our trade. So that's where the mindset is now. And I'm struggling. I'm trying to I'm talking to different people. How do I put this project together? How do I raise the funding I need to raise it? So I'm going to go on that journey now again. And now I'll test it and see whether
your blanket will work with it.
Yes, whether there are going to be biases, what I need to. But I think now I've been well educated, well exposed, and I think that there's a general intent to support small women businesses.
Yeah. Is it recent or is it new or it's always?
I think there's more of an intentionality now.
Okay.
Yes, to support women businesses, because I know of different banks are really bringing out products specifically for women.
the women.
And I think with those products, they are waiving a lot of these
Interest rates are lower.
yeah,
and
lower
some of
interest
the-
rates are lower. Perhaps the request for collateral is
Yes.
also lowered and all of that. And I think they're also understanding. You see, when you are designing a product for a market, you need to understand the market,
involved,
the
yeah.
people involved. These women maybe do not have properties in their names, but I mean, they don't have all these things that are standard. So how do we still support them to be able to enable them to capitalize and
That's right.
expand? So I think that the approach to funding for women businesses should be different.
Anita will deal with that.
Yeah, I think it should be different. It should be different. We have to look at different parameters. I mean, women bring a lot to the table as entrepreneurs. You know, we are more resilient. You know, we are more conscientious. If a woman borrows money, she's more likely to pay. You know,
And whatever she does is more likely to affect
more
people.
because of the position in society. You know, if you empower a woman, she empowers a community.
Right.
So we have to begin to look at it from that angle and be more open to more of a hand-holding process. Not this is what we want from you and go figure it out, but more of we can offer you this and this is what you need to be able to have to assess this. So let's help you.
That's right.
You know, let's help you to achieve this. I think it's more, if we can look at it from a more of a hand-holding aspect, a lot more women will be able to access funding. Yeah.
Anita, was it the same for you? Theresa decided, based on her upbringing and all that from day one, I'm going to blank and go get it. Forget about everybody. Is it the same? And how is it like in corporate, you know?
Okay, so I've been in the industry for altogether 19 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And in that period, I've had different experiences.
Okay.
And so I won't say that there's a one size fits all situation.
So
it depends on the time. It depends on the people you're working with. It depends on what the focus or the vision is that you're pursuing and all of that. But like her, biases will always be there, right? Your response to the bias is the most important thing. And so if you choose to concentrate on the biases, then you can lose focus.
Yeah.
So for me, I tell people, I don't want to be a man. It's great to be a woman because being a woman has all its benefits. It comes with all the things that you can do. And it gives you, I believe, it gives you more room to operate. Women can multitask. Women can do all sorts of things. And I enjoy being a woman and enjoy the fact that people are interested in what women want to do or what women are doing.
Yeah.
And so in my space, yes, there may be times where you would think as a woman, you need to work extra harder. You want to put in more hours because you want to fit in.
Yeah.
But the thing is that how much are you achieving? So it's not so much about the hours. It's about output.
Yeah.
It's about impact.
At the end of the day, what impact?
What have you what have you achieved? What impact have you made? And so for me, it's been more of that than the fact that you're a woman or you can't do it. And it's for me the agenda and how to get.
How did it work for you? Did you also were you also intentional that I'm not going to let that get to me, or did you have other ways of dealing with times that biases or challenges around a woman, in business?
Okay, so I've always allowed my work to speak for me.
Okay.
And so before you realize who did the work, you should be impressed about the work first of all.
Okay.
And then when you know who did it, then that's just the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
So that you know that, a woman can actually do this as well. And it's great. And in my industry, at the time when I started, I didn't see a lot of women at the time I started. But now there are a good number of us. Yes.
There are
a good number of us, especially within the investment management space. When with banking, there were a lot of women. Yes. But with the investment management, fund management, pension, non-pension space, there weren't a lot of women. But now I see a lot of women. When I go to industry conferences, workshops, engagements, I see a lot of women. And so it tells me that the industry is growing, we're evolving. People have taken interest in looking at the investment space and not just banking. And the investment space is quite unique.
Yeah.
And so to have women there, it's really good that we're not leaving that work to be done only by men, but the women are there to influence.
And I think people trust women more with money.
Exactly. To influence what is being done in that space.
Yeah.
To build the relationships that people require. Like you're saying, people trust women with money. When people know that I have a woman helping me with my future, right? It gives them comfort knowing that the woman is more meticulous. She pays attention to detail. She has empathy.
Yeah.
She can relate. She has lifelong goals that may not necessarily be far away from the people she's helping.
Yeah.
And so she's coming from a place of empathy. She's coming from a place of awareness. She's coming from a place of, okay, I get you. I can relate to where you are. I can relate to where you want to go from here. And so for me, that's what it has been, creating impact, especially when it comes to women and what women want to do within the financial space. So for a long time, I've been an advocate for financial independence, financial awareness, spending, budgeting, especially for women, because I've, in the time of my career, realized that, yes, some women work, but they are not building wealth.
Yeah.
So you have a business, you're running the business is doing well, but you don't have a good structure with paying yourself, with putting money in an investment for yourself. Everything goes right back into the business. There's no structure with spending. You spend as and when. Sometimes the spend may not necessarily be in relation to the business,
Yeah.
but you're spending anyway. There are no checks and balances when it comes to certain things within the business. So like Theresa said, when it comes to women running businesses, beyond capital, there are other areas that women need support with, like technical assistance, budgeting, a project execution, doing your books, all record keeping, all of that, checking your inventory. All of those things are aspects that are ignored most of the time. So they give you capital. Okay, you want to do this, and they give you the capital and they leave you. What about the other areas? Because you need all the other areas to thrive. And so I'm happy that these days I see a lot of the banks have women banking units and desks that are looking at women, businesses and all of that. And that's great. But we should really go beyond just providing capital. We should look at the 360 support, so that we can help them to first establish scale. A lot of the women are not scaling. And that's where the challenge is. So she started a business, she's doing well, she's making a bit of profit. And you know that the business, once given the necessary support, can scale and make bigger impact than it's making. But
we're stuck around the micro level.
yes. So the decision or the idea, the goal should be to get women to transition from the micro level
companies.
Yes. To medium and large scale. And how can we do it?
Okay.
We need to be able to support
Which
women
comes
do
to
it.
policies, current policies, and how they're supportive of women businesses or women investments. What is it been like?
Oh, it comes, for me, it's all about the practicality. If you have a policy that is not translatable into practical measures that really lift women up, then it's just on paper.
Yeah.
So if you look at industries here, I just did a little research that, of course, we know women that dominates Ghana's MSME environment, okay? And most of the sectors that women are into are retail, agribusiness, hospitality, beauty and wellness, fashion, food services, and creative industries. Now, all these industries have potential to scale, but we are currently running at that low level, still at many of them still at sole proprietorship level, haven't even gotten into different kinds of business setups. And so the growth of these sectors are going to be limited so long as we do not help them
To scale up.
scale up. And helping them to scale up means going in there, helping them to structure their businesses for scaling, and also offering them the financial support that they need to scale up. So it's more than just a policy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there are a lot of banks, even government policies. A lot of policies are meant to promote women businesses, pro-women policies. But it's how. And what I don't like the most is these workshops and things that they just do one day and go away. That doesn't help anybody.
Can't stand anymore.
So I'm looking more at how do we bring women together and go into their businesses and show them how to move it from A to B to C so they can scale up.
Yeah.
And can you imagine how much the economy would grow if women in retail, grew, if women in fashion grew, if women in, food services grew, So, and also ask yourself, how easy is it for a woman caterer to go to a bank and say, I'm looking for a loan to expand my business? Do you know how much scrutiny they'll put that woman through? So by the time she's done, she's going to look for family and friends because they would appreciate and understand what she's doing more.
Or even give up on scaling up.
Yeah, than the institutions that are supposed to support it. But then if I came as a woman to you with a creative business and asked you for support, I would want you to come into my business, understand my cash flow, understand my operations, and show me how to make this work.
Yes.
But not to just give me a sheet,
the money.
A sheet of requirements.
Once you don't take all the boxes,
then that's the
out,
end.
yeah.
You're not feeling my pain. You're not walking the journey with me. So policies for me are just on paper.
So you want the practical thing.
I want the practical aspect of understanding, empathizing with where the woman is, what she has, and looking at the potential. For most women to access funding, it's more about credibility. They assess women more on credibility and sustainability. But we feel that with men, it's more of potential. You look at a man and know what he says, a lot of talk, and then we go by. Women actually don't talk a lot. They rather like to show, to demonstrate what they're doing. Unfortunately, sometimes the talking helps.
Yes.
You have to be able to really.
Should we be learning the talking and stop just the showing?
Yes, because you may not have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, but you can still speak about the potential of what you can do, and that's why a lot of these pitching competitions, it's all about making that pitch. Making that pitch in 5 minutes, the elevator pitch, just talk about the possibilities, what you've done so far and the possibilities. And then let's get on that journey together. But most of the time, women want to have it all right and everything before they show up. And that takes a while, getting it all right before you show up. But we want institutions to invest in potential. You see the potential. The person has done so much already. You see the potential of what the person can do. So let's get in there with you and help you to develop that potential to the point where you can now access.
Scale up and all.
Yeah.
Can I just piggyback on that? So the thing is that policy and action is where we want to get to.
Yeah.
Right. And like Theresa is saying, the women that run at the micro level, it's not because they're incompetent, they haven't scaled. It's largely because the funding gap is wide.
Yeah.
And because women don't own property, if she walked into a bank, she doesn't have collateral. She doesn't have anything. She just has the business she's running and her profits that she's making. And so already she's
at a disadvantage.
She can't
so
take
she
that
can't
box.
yes she can't she can't
She's off.
can't
she's
take that
off.
box.
Collateral is
yes
amazing.
she doesn't have collateral, she doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't have machinery. She's just running her business. So how are we able to help that woman who doesn't have collateral to still access the funding?
Yeah.
At the moment, I know that there are some institutions, some foundations that are partnering with banks and some other institutions to provide blended finance.
Yeah.
So I know, like, for example, the MasterCard Foundation does some of these things where they partner so that even when women want to take a loan, the blended finance gives them a lower rate. The requirements are looked at so that they're able to access. But for me, it's more like it's important that the providers of capital understand the industry, the women's space. And without being biased, sometimes I believe that when you put a man in a certain decision-making position, he cannot understand enough to make room for that woman to put his neck on the line and say, let's do this and it will work. But when there's a woman there influencing that decision, she knows that another woman has put her neck on the line for me. She's made room for me to have exceptions so that the funding can come in. It's important that I get it right so that next time when another woman walks to that same institution, the door is still open. And that's where we want to get to. We want to get to the point where the banks, the providers of capital, understand the industry. So if you're creative, for example, I know that within the creative industry, it's difficult to get finance.
I mean, it's because we are dealing with intangibles.
Yes.
And we in the industry, we understand the financial model of our industry. To you sitting on the other side,
it's not practical. For them,
it's not right. It doesn't fit into the rules.
Yes. Yeah. So there needs to be special funding opportunities for
specific industries.
Yes.
How do we change this?
So that and the people who are managing those funds, so to speak, should be able to understand the ecosystem of the creative industry and how we make money.
Yes.
Because even now it's even gotten worse in the sense of this now we have world of the content creators and I'm talking about the millions of dollars that they talk about. I'm like, where is this money? So it's even gotten worse.
No, they mention it like it's peanuts.
Yes, like your child will say, I want to be an influencer. And you know that when you finish school, go and work in the bank.
I know,
wake up in the morning, go to work and come. At the end of the month, you get paid. That's the work we know.
Yes.
But now...
No, you guys are old school.
I know,
right? Now, these young ones, they wake up in the morning, holding their phone, walking up and down, changing dresses, all of that. They build the community and the audiences and brands are paying them for it. So now the financial model is different.
It's different.
So if institutions now want to support women in these spaces, they've got to start thinking differently. Those old risk-averse models of I must see physical. My equity could be my brand.
Yes.
My brand could be my equity, and I don't need to have a house. But that brand value is worth so much on the market. We saw I Show Speed come to Ghana to do a whole lot of stuff. That young man, 21 or 22 years, is worth millions. He may not have houses, to show
anything to show
as collateral if he wants to access funding for something. So the way
collateral is the eyeballs.
That's what I'm saying. It's the eyeballs. It's the brand. It's the equities.
But that's not tangible.
Yes. So that's where the creative space stands. So for us, most of our investments in terms of business expansion and scale has been from internally generated funds and from our bankers who have just evaluated us as a business.
And understand your business.
Yeah, as a business by evaluating your inflows and your outflows and all of that. And so we actually were kind of like trailblazers in terms of a creative enterprise that could be taken seriously, so to speak, that you could really back with numbers to show that this is the work that we do and we are able to come to the table and, speak at the table, But for a lot of young people who are starting out and women who are starting out as creatives in the creative industry, they may not have that. But you have to look at the potential. You know, one of the industries that has huge potential, that has a lot of women in, is, for example, tourism. Tourism and hospitality. What kind of funding is available to support somebody who says, I want to run a tour business. I'm doing a tour business at this level. I want it to go to this level.
So how do we deal with structure? You know,
Yeah.
we've gotten to a point. I think earlier you guys spoke about the fact that now people want to help women to,
Yeah.
you know, build and all
Yeah.
that. But that's the goodwill part. How do we put real structure to the economy to now make it part of us to fast track, you know, this growth?
Okay, so at the moment, there's a lot of talk. So, like you're saying, the institutions are displaying their desire to help women, but nobody is really stating how the final access
Point will be,
to to the funding will be. I believe that it will be good if our financial institutions can make room for people to understand the specific areas that they would want to go into. So, for example, there are private equity firms within our industry, right, that support businesses at different levels. What I like about the private equity firms is that they take personal interest in the businesses. So they are not only giving you funding, but they are looking at they're part of the business. They are looking at your management team. They are looking at expertise that you have. They are looking at the gaps within your business and how those gaps can be filled so that once that funding is provided, you can sweat the capital and make profits so that whoever's capital it is that has been given to you can also be paid some kind of return for the investment that has been made into your business. So the private equity firms are more intentional about these things. One, because you've taken money from people to invest in these businesses. Your reputation is on the line, yes. So it's important that the businesses that you are providing the capital to thrive so that you can pay back your investors. And so that these firms are intentional. Sometimes they even put people on the board of the businesses, right? There's somebody, keeping a real eye, making sure that everything works according to plan. I don't know if all the institutions providing support for women have these structures in place. So it comes back to the hand-holding. Beyond providing the capital, what are you doing? Because if you don't help beyond providing the capital, there are risks that you cannot control. So how do you identify what those risks are and how do you plug the loopholes to make sure that your capital returns to you with a profit? So for me, it's the intentionality and how that intentionality is actually executed. If I want funding as a woman for my sole proprietorship, where do I go to? That's the first question. Where do I go to? Are there people, are there institutions that can say, okay, give me your let me look at your books. What do you have? Where do you want to go? And then based on what you have and where you want to go, I can say that this is the gap. How can we fill the gap? Who is willing to help? And how can we find that
the right
person
for you
to help? I think there's a lot of talk, but when it comes to the actual structure that is going to walk the woman from point A to point B,
there's nothing.
It's what we need to work on.
I think that is really where the gap is.
Okay.
That's where the gap is. They say we have funding for you. And the woman says, this is my business. And then they look at, oh, but to access this, you must have this and this and that. And she goes, but this is my business. This is how I sell this, I import, I do this, I do that. And this is the money I make. But to get this money, to get this funding, this is what that's. So I'm just telling you how it's.
Yeah.
This is, to get this money, this is what you need.
Like they are boxed. Take
And
it
everyone
off.
is saying, but I'm doing well. I've made all this money and all of that. And so how can't I get this money? No, to get this money, you must fail all of these things.
Exactly.
And everyone is saying that, no, but I'm doing really well. My business is very profitable. So you're speaking two different languages. She's telling you her lived experience, how she runs her business and how she's making the money. So why don't we at this point just de-risk, approach women financing in a sort of a de-risk
Different
environment where you're not looking only at the risk, but about the potential. What can this business become if we support? And that's where I think the gap is. What can this business become if we supported it? Based on just what we are looking at. What can it become if we support it?
Okay.
And so then it comes back to, so how can we support it? And I think that is where the gap is. We need to be able to move to that level. So there's a policy that wants to support.
But
How do we make it practical to this person? The only way, no, I won't say the only way, but the easiest way is, okay, we have this policy that says every woman should be given a grant of $10,000. You just come for it and go put it in your business, and then let's see how it goes. You know, you'll be amazed that without all the bottlenecks of you must do this, you must do that, just come for this money and put it in. Now let's come into your business. Okay, so how is it going to work? We'll do this today. Okay, so why didn't you do it? The money is available. You're helping her, you know, so you don't even have to give her, for example, the money as a cash payment payout. You could actually use it to do procurement.
yeah.
You know, you could use the money to do procurement. Oh, I need to bring in raw materials. Okay, we'll pay
We'll get you
for the raw materials.
Yeah.
Go and pick it up as and
Pick
when
it
you
up,
need it.
and then so more materials comes in. We'll have to pay for this. You pay for it. So you are walking the journey with the person, guiding and showing, but not saying that go and do all of this before you come for this. Do you understand? But you can do it in a way that doesn't give them the access to the cash. If that's what you are
Well,
wanting.
you're afraid that you lose the cash when you
Yes, but then you use it to solve the problems that they are trying to achieve, you know, so
As
get
a-
their
as a
solutions
business.
for, and work with them to deliver the results.
Okay.
You know,
You
so
say-
it requires more,
Yeah.
and especially because of how we are set up as a society. As she mentioned to you, the disadvantages of women not having the collateral, etc., etc. So if you want to approach it that way, it's not going to work. We have to approach investing in women differently.
Differently. Okay, Anita, I'll give you a minute to do that. And then my final question will be, as women who are running business in business, one thing you want to impact on others to also be able to take the positions that you have in terms of building, running, and all that. But an add on to, you know, that gap.
Okay, so right now, it'll be good for, beyond government's interest in wanting to help women, right, to actually institutionalize certain practices across respective areas.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to only be within the financial sector,
That across board.
across board, where women know that there's help here. So if let's say I'm in the agricultural sector, I should be able to know that at the Ministry of Finance or at the Ministry of Agriculture,
There's a desk somewhere.
there's a
that will
desk
deal-
that I can go to and say that, okay, I do fish farming, and this is where I am. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is how much I make at the end of every month. I want to take it here because there's a market for what I do.
Yeah.
I can supply hotels, I can supply homes, schools, and all of that. But I don't have the funding to do it because I need to expand. I need to do this, that. Let the ministry be able to say that, okay, these are the options that you have available to you. You can go to this bank, or we have partnerships with X bank or X institution that will look at your case specifically and then
That
help you. We will put an attaché to your business and make sure that we are monitoring once a quarter to make sure that you are working according to the plan that you have brought. And so that's practical, right? But if we only leave it as okay, we are helping women, but there's no roadmap, there's no blueprint, then we will struggle.
Okay.
So let's see that blueprint. Who will own that blueprint? Will it be at the ministry level? Will it be at the respective ministry levels, so that creative arts and culture is doing theirs?
This one, that.
Yes, this and that. So that's the structure that we need, so that we can bring the providers of the finance with those who need it, and then make sure that the businesses thrive. They say that societies that suppress their women are the least developed economically. And so it's important that the women become economically empowered. And that is how the economy
Will thrive.
will grow.
So Theresa, let me come to you in your space. I mean, you've been there for like 20 years and all that. What are the opportunities in there that people can take advantage of, or that people who want to be in the business, can?
Well, there are huge opportunities in the creative industry for investment. First of all, one of the areas I am keen about is in event venues.
Okay.
The MICE industry is growing all around the world, and in Africa, there are some countries that have positioned themselves to attract these big international conferences. And they have done so by investing in infrastructure that would make it possible to host such investments and conferences of such nature. And you have countries like South Africa. In Southern Africa, you have South Africa. In East Africa, you have Kenya. And Rwanda is a recent entry in that space. In Northern Africa, you have Egypt and Morocco. In West Africa, we are still struggling. And
What's the largest sitting capacity that you even have?
Currently in Ghana, what we have is the Grand Arena that we have put up at the Accra International Conference Center. That is the largest indoor capacity venue right now. It's about 4,000 capacity. And 2,000 for banquets.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the largest indoor capacity. So there really is a need for large capacity in event venues, convention centers, etc. That would really enable us to attract international conferences and exhibitions and large-scale events. And that is a great area of interest for us and my company, especially. And then you talk about tourism development. I mean, people come to Ghana a lot. We have a lot of tourism. We have high footfalls in West Africa for tourism, if not the highest. But what is the tourism experience? We all travel to different parts of the world. We go to resorts, water parks, adventure. We have so much of that can be done in Ghana. So there's a lot of investment opportunities in tourism experiences in Ghana as well. Let's talk about our movies. We talk about storytelling. We need huge production studios. I went to India and Bollywood. I did a tour of their studios, and we talk about an industry that has invested, an industry that has attracted investment. You have huge production studios producing daily content, movies, etc. So we need the opportunities in studios, in setting up studios and production facilities, and all of these investments will create employment for young people. So where I think that our industry, the creative industry, has such a huge potential to create employment if only we can direct investment to that sector. And it takes talking to people like us who have walked the talk and who understand where the value is in the industry, where you can extract the value from the industry, and coming together to see how can we invest in this sector in a way that brings returns. Sometimes I see some of the efforts some institutions are making. Oh, we have something we want to do for creatives, and they'll say, oh, send the proposal, and then we will pay 100,000, and I'm like, this is not going to get anywhere. There are bigger issues, bigger fish to fry in our industry. Just think about Hollywood and what Hollywood is in the millions of dollars and billions that it generates. And just imagine if we were intentional about creating something like this in this part of the world, even if it's for West Africa. We don't think of only Ghana. Think of even West Africa. Think of Africa. So there's so much potential,
Okay.
so much. And in our industry, I say that there's underemployment in the sense that there's also a huge opportunity in skills development. There's a huge skills gap in our industry, huge skills gap. Our educational institutions are not training people for our industry. Most people who are being trained in the industry are being trained on the job.
Yeah.
But there's a huge skills
So
gap.
that is even,
It's
education.
there.
is a
Education,
whole-
education for our industry is also another huge investment opportunity.
Yeah.
But you see, time and time again, education institutions being set up offering the same courses that you can find everywhere. So what's happening to our space? We are not being trained for our space. If you want to be an interior designer in Ghana, where do you go?
Where do you go?
If you want to be, I know that people are trying the fashion, but hairdressing, talk about all the skills in the creative sector, photography, like at the highest level, where are you going? So there actually is opportunity in creating like an institute for the arts, etc. So there's so many opportunities, and those are all areas that we are actually considering. That's why I was telling you that I'm developing a project.
We'll
And
follow up
maybe,
another time. Maybe
Maybe
Anita
we'll have
will
a
help.
chat.
But
Anita, maybe we'll have a
Anita,
chat.
everything is
Unfortunately, you will have to bank on potential.
I know, right?
You will have to bank on potential. You have to take our credibility and the potential.
The potential.
Bank on it.
Don't
Tell me to bring
as
you
Theresa-
collateral because I don't have any collateral to bring
I know,
you.
right?
But I can tell you, I can point you to Hollywood, I can point you to Bollywood, and I can tell you that this is the potential of what our industry can become.
Right.
So bank on it.
So huge investments, she's talking about millions. Prospects of funding, how can we,
Okay, so
I'm looking for funding.
as Theresa was
Let's
talking
go.
about,
This is going to be your case study.
I
Invest
know.
Ghana. This is going to be your case study.
Yes.
as she was talking about investing in venues, right?
Yeah.
In event venues. I was just thinking in my head, will it be good to establish a REIT for you, for example, like a real estate investment trust, where we can raise funding from the pension industry and then
Build these.
put it into these projects. And so once the REIT is set up, we can look at the development timelines, what inflows. So we need to look at cash projections and all of that. The thing with our industry is that it's very heavily regulated because you're looking at people's pensions, you're looking at people's futures. And so before even the regulator will give you a go ahead for you to do certain things, you have to check a lot of boxes.
Okay.
That's what the problem
We'll
is.
check the boxes.
Yes,
we've spoken
but,
about.
check the boxes.
but like I'm saying, with for example, the event venues, it's a good product for a REIT.
Yeah.
And it's a good way that funding can be raised. It can be an anchor project that any REIT would look at. And given
So you have your project sponsor here.
I believe we will have a good conversation after this session, yes.
Maybe we can
I
shake,
like
we
it.
can shake on it.
I like Theresa.
We shake on potential. On potential.
Yeah. So I mean, once we can look at the regulation and meet the requirements. Again, I say that because it's people's pensions, it's people's futures. There has to be a clear plan with what the fundraising would look like, where the money will be put, within what time frame we should expect to begin to earn a return, and all of that. So there's heavy regulation around my industry, but there's also potential for investment because the pension assets are huge. And once we can put a good plan in place, we definitely should be able to get good funding once we clear the regulatory.
Okay, so we'll return to you.
Absolutely.
Because Theresa has put us on the spot to make this a case study.
Yes,
Yes.
it's a case study. It's going to be a case study, I tell you.
My boss is at Invest Podcast. There's a case study that we have
Yes,
to return to.
yes.
It may be 6 months, if for 6 months or 1 year.
Yes, case study.
Yeah.
We'll develop the project, definitely.
Sure.
When I actually got the invitation to attend, I was like, this has come at the right time. It has come at the right time. You know what they say, luck is preparation meeting opportunity. I've been prepared for this.
Yes.
So this is the opportunity.
This
So
is it.
yes, so we'll start.
Yes.
Yeah.
My time is up, but I'll give you 20 seconds each on my final question about mentorship and helping women to get to the roles that you guys have. I know 30 seconds is...
Well,
but-
Well, what I would say about that is that women just need to be intentional about bringing up the next generation. As you move forward and you learn life's lessons and become a better version of yourself, you should always be thinking about the next person after you, and open up spaces for younger women to come and learn from you, as well as from what you've achieved. And so for me, I'm very intentional about that. My company organizes the National Women's Summit, and we are very big on mentoring. And last year we did a speed mentoring session that mentored about 300 young people at Sego, and it was very impactful. And I'm interested in doing more of such activities, opening up what I do to more young people to see what I do, to participate in it, and to also bring more experienced women like you into contact with younger ones, so we can also transfer your experience and take them up with you. So.
All right, thanks, Anita.
Okay, so for me, beyond or in addition to the mentoring, it's also important that the young women who want to be mentored get some sort of mindset shift. Sometimes I get the sense that people still hold back because they think, oh, I don't have everything. I'm not confident enough. I don't have XYZ. And so I need to get XYZ before I can approach somebody. We need to be intentional about stepping up as well. Let's not wait for Theresa to say, okay, come and let me mentor you. All you ladies, sign up for this.
Go to her.
Go to her. Look for her.
Why not say yes or no?
Or
and
no.
Eventually we'll say
and
yes.
when you continue to bug her, one day she'll say, okay, what do you need? And she'll give in.
That's right.
Right? So we also need to show the hunger to be mentored. So that's one. Two, beyond mentoring, we need sponsors. And these sponsors don't necessarily have to be women alone. I tell people that with this whole women thing, it's not about asking the men to reduce or diminish or leave the room. We're just saying that there's more space in the room to let more women in, right? And so we need sponsors. We need the men to also be intentional about making sure that the gaps are filled, that women are supported. So it shouldn't only be women supporting women, but we know that when the men also, chip in, they contribute to supporting women. It goes a long way. And so that's what we need from the men.
All right, ladies, it's been a great discussion.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. And thank you for being part of this discussion. InvestGhana Podcast under the auspices of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Also, we're doing this with Akuna Studios. They are giving us the space to be able to hold our podcast. My name is Vivian Kai Lokko. We'll see you again. Remember to like, share, comment on our videos that we have across social media platforms. Bye-bye.